Call the meeting to order. I'd like to ask Commissioner Stewart if he'd lead us in the invocation and the pledge.
Sure. Please rise. Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for this opportunity to come and serve our community. Lord, I just ask that you grant us wisdom here tonight to make decisions that concern our community, Lord. And I just ask that you bless Randy Merritt, who's not here with us tonight. He's sick. Lord, that you heal his body. And I pray also for Ralph Thomas, who's been undergoing lots of sickness, that you would continue to heal his body. Lord, I ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we are missing Randy, so we don't have anyone up here who's had everyone's job tonight, but we're going to still do the best we can. We're going to miss him for sure. All right. One thing that I want to point out, the item for Heron Point, the applicant has asked us to continue that to the next meeting. Since that is a quasi-judicial hearing, I'm just making that announcement now, but then we'll wait until 6 p.m. to deal with that one way or the other, deal with his request to continue at 6 p.m. Any other changes to the agenda?
Motion to approve. Second.
Have a motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Patty, any citizens to be heard? I'm sorry. If you'd like to speak, you've got a couple citizens to be heard opportunities, one either at the beginning or at the end. Please fill out a speaker card with Miss Patty. You can also speak on each individual agenda item. Please fill out a card on each one. Give us your name, address, speak clearly into the microphone so the folks at home can hear as well. Thank you. None for the first. All right. We'll go into awards and presentation. We'll start out with Miss Joanne Palmer with Keep Wakulla County Beautiful.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Haven't been here in a while. I want to say welcome new members, and we really appreciate your continued support. I appreciate the opportunity to update the commissioners on what's been going on with Keep Wakulla County Beautiful. On Saturday, March the 4th, we hosted our annual Apalachicola National Forest cleanup. We had 47 volunteers, and we collected 3,840 pounds of debris, including 36 illegally dumped tires. A drop in the bucket as far as the forest goes. And then on Saturday, April the 8th, we hosted our semi-annual Hazardous Waste Day. I saw, let me see, who came through? Okay, well, I hope y'all didn't have any hazardous waste that's still at your home. So, we collected 31 pallets of electronics. These are preliminary numbers. 13 pallets of paint, 1 pallet of car and marine batteries, 3 32-gallon totes of other batteries, 972 4-feet long fluorescent tubes, 67 of the 8-foot tubes, 1 pallet of aerosol cans, 960 gallons of oil, diesel, gasoline, antifreeze, etc., and 27 gallons of pesticides, and lots of propane tanks and fire extinguishers. So, I'm here tonight, and we have our treasurer, Mark Dickinson. Thanks for coming, Mark. I'm really excited to announce that Keep Wakulla County Beautiful, on behalf of Wakulla County, we represent the county, was one of 4 Keep America Beautiful affiliates in the state of Florida that have received the Zephyr Hills Public Space Recycling Bin Grant. Zephyr Hills teamed up with Keep America Beautiful to improve access to on-the-go recycling along Florida waterways. They're committed to the state of Florida, and you can go to their website and find out how committed they are. We have received 30 permanent bins, that's the larger one, and 25 event bins. Cody and his staff of the Parks Department have already begun placing the bins in locations that he and I determined would be very good and important access points for this recycling program. It's all in an attempt to make sure that we are protecting our fragile environmental areas. They have begun to put some Lower Bridge boat ramp, Shell Point at the new boat ramp, Shell Point at the Pavilion, Rock Landing, Nash's Sands boat ramp, and the beach area, Woolly Park, Azalea Park, Newport Park, Hudson Park, and other sites will include the City of St. Mark's River Park, St. Mark's Boat Landing, Sopchoppy Park, Wakulla Springs, and we are still determining other needs. We have 30. The county maintained parks will take about 16 of those. So the event bins our plan is to make them available for special events like the Stone Crab Festival and things that the communities can borrow those. And I want to thank the Parks Department for their commitment to help with this program. They pick the litter up, and the recycling can be dropped off any day of the week at the landfill for free. So that helps. I remember that Ralph and I have been trying to get commercial recycling here, and I was really stressing about this opportunity, but we just couldn't turn it down because it's a great opportunity. In addition to the bins, Zephyr Hills will also be donating 2 handicap accessible picnic tables. It's a great donation, and Cody and I have been discussing, and we're tentatively planning to put them and secure them to the concrete so they don't wash away at the Shell Point Pavilion. The total monetary value of this grant, anybody care to guess? Come on, y'all. $21,427.
Nice.
I'm excited about that. Upcoming things that are happening for us is we're holding a fundraiser. We're selling sodas during Rock the Dock, and we'll be continuing to spread our message at festivals and to other organizations. If you want to be involved, please let me know. We'd love to have more community involvement. Any questions?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Looks good. All right, that ends our awards and presentation. We'll go to the consent. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0. General business, item number 8.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a long-awaited agenda item for our county. This agenda item requests the board approval of Clemens Rutherford Associates fee schedule for phases 3 through 6 in the amount of $86,995. Approval of Dewberry Preble Ridge task order of $20,000 for construction of a new fire and EMS facility. Approval to solicit financing options for construction, and approval of the resolution and budget amendment.
Motion to approve.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Hold on. You can go ahead. I need to pass this out to you. This is a handout that I need to explain real quick.
I'll second it. Got a motion and a second.
I've got one for you too, Patty. What this is just to further clarify all this does is further clarify the cost breakdown. The handout that I gave you basically lays out it's the same total cost of the project, but there's some of the work will be done for our existing public works, such as an additional stormwater ponds, some extra paving, etc., and that's what those represent. And the cost directly to the new building will be $1.9 million, 1.99.
One thing, just to clarify, I think what the handout is intending to show is that there's actually, it's been rolled up for you for ease in this agenda item, but it's actually 2 projects. One is improvements for your existing public works facilities, and the second is the construction of the new public safety facility. So there's 2, you can see the cost breakouts of those 2 separate projects.
But the money value is still the same.
The value is still the same. It's just the way we're breaking the project out.
Okay.
Does anyone ever tell anybody that, hey, this is too much money?
Sure.
Huh?
Sure.
Do we ever say that based on the...
Can we walk through the project real quick first?
Yeah.
Okay. What we'd like to do is, if we could, let's walk through the project. Justin, could you, and Louis? Walk through the site plan, and then Greg Kelly's here also with CRA to discuss, go over the details for the facility. This facility is planned. You can put it right up here.
You can have this to...
Yeah, can you put that up on the board on the agenda item there?
What attachment is
This.
David, what attachment? Which attachment is it?
I'll find it.
I don't know.
Two?
Two. Need a site plan. The next one. There you go. Nope.
Go back to attachment C.
This one?
Scroll down. There you go.
Can y'all see?
Mm-hmm.
Make that bigger there. Yeah, just show that to the board. Louis, give them an overview real quick of where we are and what this building does and what it consolidates, please.
So just in short, this facility is going to combine. Right now you have 4 career staff that live at Crawfordville Volunteer Fire Department. They've been utilizing that as their main housing. And then you've got 2 people on Trice Lane at the old EMS station, which is an old house that's been converted. What this does, and you also have actually a battalion chief that's on duty. Those are 24/7 employees, 365 days a year. And then our offices, which are at the Public Works facility. This building puts all of us into one facility. So you'll have 2 ambulances 24/7 operating out of it, as well as a career fire engine. You'll have the administrative offices, which include myself, the EMS chief, and the administrative coordinator. The battalion chiefs will have their offices in the facility as well. And then all of the living quarters as well. And the bays are large enough that we'll be able to house the 4 ambulances that are at those stations, as well as the career engine, and room for growth. We've built the bays long enough to hold a 110-foot aerial truck. As Crawfordville grows, that will probably become a need in the future. And they're also large enough at this time, and the facility is going to be large enough that if we were to have a catastrophic storm to come through and we need to pull apparatus north into the county, we're going to have some room to put them in there. We'll also have backup power on this facility, which we do not have at all of our facilities.
Let me ask a question on the bays while you're there. I see on the breakdown it shows back-end bays, but I thought when I spoke to David they were like pull-through. Are they?
I apologize. They are pull-through bays.
Okay.
And they've run Justin ran all of the turning radius and stuff, and that's what we worked with Public Works. That's the parking lots are going to kind of join together so we can come from the fuel yard, which will definitely reduce our backing incidents into the bays. So these trucks are just really large, and without having pull-through bays, they're hard to get in.
Okay.
But
I can add to that. This is an overall, just zoomed out a little bit more. This is the existing fueling station, so we have allowed it where they can pull in this way, go to the fueling, and then come back out and pull in the rear of the bays, and again, pull out the front. If they don't have to go to the fueling, they can just come in the main entrance and pull through. And again, the program that he's referring to is called auto turn. It basically simulates the turning movements of fire trucks or buses or whatever it may be. And after we ran it, we did find out we had to expand it a little bit in places to avoid conflict. But the trucks that he's planning on running and the little larger trucks for potential future growth will work with this particular layout.
Also, what this project does as well is this moves our Public Works operation downstairs. We have our share of handicap issues and ADA accessibility issues, so it pulls that staff downstairs so we will no longer have those issues as well.
And the working with the existing facility, and I'll point to this so everybody can kind of see it, but this is where the existing parking is. This is all grass parking right now. This is the existing laid out parking for the Public Works building that's here. So as a part of this project, all this is going to be reworked as well. We've met with Summer and worked through a lot of the issues as far as landscaping and driveway openings, and we can see that we're actually going to delete the driveway opening here that's existing here because we're adding a new one here.
The only thing we're still working out is actual width of this driveway, and so we've got to come to some compromise on that. But outside of that, it's pretty well lays out and meets the requirements that someone would want to see. And again, we're going to utilize the existing stormwater facility, just expand on that in the back of that property.
So even with the larger trucks, you can come in through the northern driveway and not have to go through the fuel yard, is that right?
That's correct. We ran the turning movements. Coming in from the fuel yard this way, or coming in here and making that turn and pulling in. But this is the layout, the floor layout that we got from Greg. We just dropped it straight in the drawing and then worked from there with the handicap spaces and whatnot. And if we have to massage this a little bit more, again, this is just conceptual to give us an idea. You know, there's been some discussion about whether we break this out where you can't pass through here at all. There's some little details like that we've still got to work through naturally, but in general, that's the concept that we're
Good. Thank you.
One of the things that I mentioned today when we briefed was my concern, and you put me at ease about it, was making sure that we're building it big enough for growth. and you assured me that we could, not only is it big enough for growth in the existing footprint of it, but it's easy to add on to it. So to me that's important, because we've been putting this off for years, and if you go up and see what those folks have to live in, I mean, this is way overdue.
Yeah, I don't have any question. Most likely people more in the know than I do determine that we need this, and it's evidently that we do. The problem that I have is with government spending taxpaying money. We do a project and we're using other people's money. It's not my money. If it were my money, I would do it differently. Just as an example, if I had the board's unanimous decision, I would just cut the price 30%, and I'd take it to you and I'd say, do your project, but do it at 30% less. And I don't think that it could not be done for 30% less. I don't have the information on that, but I know that government, we don't use the government's money as we use our own money.
I would object to that,
You can
Commissioner
object
Moore,
all day.
because it's not true.
Okay.
I'll challenge you in front of any of these guys right now. We did not use that, and we do not do that. There's nothing in here that is fluff. There's not a whirlpool. There's not any of that other stuff in here. This is straight metal building cost from the metal building companies for what we need of moving the existing facilities, the beds that are there. So, yeah, we can reduce anything, but that's what you get. You get a piece of junk, and if we want a piece of junk, that's fine. But to say that this is government at its worst, that is not true at all.
And
that is not true at all.
if I may add to that as well.
We've proven that we haven't done that, Jerry. You know that.
No, I do not know that.
We have not, well,
I'm not saying...
that's the reason we had our meetings, to come and talk about these things. And yes, if we got a problem with a certain thing, yes, if y'all want to shrink it down, that's fine. But to say that we're wasting money right off the bat and you don't know?
I didn't say you were wasting it. I said I would cut that expense 30%.
But for what?
Tell us where to cut it, Jerry, and I'll listen.
Tell us where to cut it.
I can't tell you where to cut it. I can't do that.
I mean, the bays have to be a certain size.
How many dollars a square foot is this costing?
Greg, this comes right from the private sector.
And this law, what I was going to say a second ago, all this will be competitively bid. It's not like we're going to award it based on the prices you see there. All those are just budgetary numbers. So, I mean, when it comes time to actually construct it, it'll all be bid out. Now, I help provide costs on the parking and stormwater facility and landscaping and that kind of stuff. Now, on the vertical construction, I don't have any experience.
The vertical construction, the livable area, we used $120 a square foot, 7,816 square feet, and the EMS bays.
Can you speak directly to the microphone?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The EMS bays are $65 a square foot. And
You
the
can't
living
build a
area
house
was
for that.
120.
Yeah.
Jerry, I hear what you're saying, but had we built this 6 or 7 years ago when we started talking about building it, we probably could have built it for 30% less, but we are where we are now, and can we build it cheaper? Yes. Are we going to have an inferior product?
Well,
Yes.
If he tells me that you're 120 on part of it,
Yes,
On the
on
living.
part of it.
now that
65
includes that includes what, the site prep, the architectural fees?
No, that is the building.
That is the building itself. That is not the architectural fees and site prep.
How many architects did you solicit? How much bidding did you do on the architect and the site prep?
This is just an estimate. We haven't put it out for bid yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we're going to put it out. We're going to hard bid it eventually.
Would you- I'll not give you any. I don't mind the 120. I know what numbers are. And what was the other number? It was 100,
It was 65.
65 for the living.
No, 65 was for the truck bays.
I just, yeah, okay. I don't have any problem with you on that, really. But I just have a general problem with government spending money. I really do. David, you've done very well in keeping our costs down.
And I wouldn't bring this up if I didn't think it was needed, and we have to provide services.
Well, I know that it's needed.
And we have to provide services. The only way to do that, they don't give this stuff away.
The only time that I ever voted for a tax increase, I voted for, I think, $3 to get the firemen out of tents.
But understand is we can't go out there and sell
Well,
cookies.
I don't have so much trouble that I know the dollars per square foot on it. But when you start bidding out your site prep and your architectural fees and your design fees,
Part of what you're approving is the architectural fees. We've already went through the bidding process. As far as our CCNA is concerned, we have two within our CCNA. We've worked with CRA and Associates. They're out of right here, homegrown architectural firm. We've worked out a proposed contract with them. That's based upon, and they've actually given us a better deal than what I thought we would get even on the
with all due
marketplace.
respect, I understand him to say that he hadn't bid that stuff
Now,
out
he was
yet.
talking about the building itself.
Building.
The
Oh,
building
the
has
building.
not been built.
Building,
Bid out. That's
landscape,
right.
site work, all that.
That's right. That's
I'm
right.
sorry to give you trouble, but I just I have a problem with government.
Well, we're not your average
I do.
government.
I know you're not.
That's right.
And I think this county does a great job, but
Well, and we can go through these one by
Yeah.
one. I mean,
I'll let it go.
they look like they make sense.
So we need to make sure that we have the infrastructure to support our community, and that's what this is about. It costs us money to do that, but we still need to do it.
The alternative is to do away with firefighters, and that's not an alternative, so.
That destroys your community.
Right.
So we have to do this. My biggest concern was about, is this the right location to give us the best service? And the fire chief assures me that it is, and so that was my real concern.
Very good. Sorry to interrupt. Please go forward.
I don't know if there's anything left to talk about. No, just commissioners, rest assured, I mean, this facility is being built for the future. It looks large, but it really isn't when you see how much equipment we already have. We did trim back. Mr. Edwards, he had us trim it back from what we first came out with, so.
Considerably.
Yes, considerably. So, it's the nice part about this facility is we can grow in the future off of it, being it's a metal building. We've worked with Greg and discussed how we could expand as needed, so it's not something we're going to be stuck with ambulances parked out in the parking lot, not inside their shelter like they should be. And like I said,
One of the key components of this building as well is we're actually going to be able to house under one roof all of our medical facilities, all our medicines and et cetera, in a conditioned area, as well as all of our tanks and the what do you call it, your tank?
Yeah, we're moving 4 sheds worth of equipment, 3 buildings worth of staff, all the the fire trucks and ambulances that go with that, all into one facility. We're going to be reducing utilities. Because we're moving it into one. It's going to be a safer.
But the biggest thing is
place.
we'll be able to secure our meds, which is one of the biggest things that we've got.
I have no problem, I have no question that you don't need it. And I have no question about building it for you. That was not my question. And he answered pretty much on the square footage basis. I understand what square footage costs. So,
Nothing wrong with saving money.
Nope.
If we can figure out how to shave it, let's shave it, but
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Can you talk to us about how many people you have on staff, like fire and ambulance, on overnight crews, and how many this will house?
Yes, this station is going to house, each ambulance unit we refer to as a rescue. Right now you have Rescue 1, which is next door to my office on Trice Lane. That's 2 people. And then we have Rescue 4 and Engine 12, which is a fire truck. And those have 2 per unit. And plus there's a roving fire paramedic battalion chief that's in a truck.
This is per shift.
This is per shift.
Per shift.
Yes, per shift. So you're going to be housing all of those people. So 2, 4, 6, 7, plus your administrative staff, and then all of the, of course, we have volunteer chief meeting in the
But like
evening.
bunk rooms, they need to catch some sleep before their next call. How many can you sleep?
Currently, right now, there's going to be 5 bunk rooms, and then there'll be an ADA compliant battalion chief room downstairs, so we don't have to put an elevator in.
Okay.
But so up to probably 15, 3 beds per bunk room, plus the supervisors' rooms.
Okay.
So we'll have room as the
Not
volunteers.
double what you have on a given night.
Yes, sir, easily.
Okay.
And realize we're also going to the 48, so we'll be using those bunk rooms a lot more, the 48, 96, whatever you call it.
can you expand all parts of this?
Yes, sir. Yeah, because the bays are very easy to expand off of, and really the living quarter side is
And the living quarters, the office is downstairs and living quarters upstairs. That was a cheaper alternative versus a spread.
You gonna have a pole to slide down?
You know, we are not putting a pole in. Everybody
we
requested
have
that.
enough. We have enough issues.
Yeah.
So the footprint as is drawn right now, does that cover the existing facility that you're housing the ambulances in now, or is that still to the north of this?
It's shifted. This will be a little south of the current facility.
Okay.
Which is our room for growth. Out
But
to
I
that.
guess what I'm asking, you have
This one right here.
okay, so you don't have to tear that down before this is built. You can do that afterwards, and then you've got that room to expand into if you need to.
Correct.
Okay. Very good.
The price for the tearing down of the other building, that's going to be bid out later?
We're going to ask our Public Works Department to take care of that in-house.
I think we may have some firefighters that want to do a little demolition for you on that one too.
Yeah.
They're gonna
We're
let
not going to be
it burn
setting
slow.
any fires in it until it rains, but still.
Yes, but it's not here, I can get some water.
Yeah.
Very good.
My motion stands to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any citizens on this? None. Further discussion from the board?
Mr. Chairman, the motion to approve includes approving the financing? as
Yes.
well? Okay, thank you.
And the second as well? All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thank y'all
Good
very
job.
much.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank this crew, because you're looking at this crew, Lee and Cheryl and Marvin, Andy, Cody, and Brandy. They all worked together as a team to develop this and bring this to us, and it was a
Just notice that I didn't,
collaborative effort.
just notice that I didn't object, I just asked
I'm
questions.
just telling you that there a lot of people worked hard, and this is what happened. And no joke, out of this, I kept knocking it down, just as you said, Jerry. We kept knocking it down till it made sense. So.
But we also need to point out that this would be very difficult without the citizens approving the 1 cent
Yes.
sales tax that passed. And so, that makes it a lot easier, and that's going to turn around and save money for the citizens that benefit from better ISO ratings,
That's
better
right.
response time, better crews co-located together.
They're going to pay for their insurance, so savings, yeah.
I've heard some of the crews say that they'll believe this when they see it, so now they can start believing. So tell them we appreciate it.
I said the same thing, so.
All
Very
right.
good, thank y'all.
Let's go to item number 9.
Yes, this is a request for the board's approval to adopt a resolution accepting the residential needs analysis, the commercial needs analysis, and the land use assessment for the Crawfordville Town Plan. These assessments were prepared by Kimley Horn and Associates, and Mr. John Sewell is here and available for any specific questions that you may have about these assessments and analysis.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any citizens on this? I've got one minor question for John. I notice, let me see if I can get to the page, in the commercial needs analysis, if I'm understanding this properly, it basically states that we only have 16 acres of commercial property currently being used.
Which page are you on there?
Let me see if I can find that. Bear with me. New computer, I'm still trying to figure out how to drive. Well, let's see, it's page 146 of my agenda, which is page 8 of the commercial needs analysis.
Let me just turn to that page.
What tab is that?
Tab, attachment 3 of tab 9.
Okay.
It says we've got 80.4 acres of total acreage and 64 vacant. So that leaves about 16 acres that we're stating is currently has commercial development on it. That seems a little...
I don't see that on page 8.
Wait a minute. If you're looking at the numbered pages at the top, it says page 11 of 18. Now, for...
This is in table 11, John.
Oh, table 11. Okay. Oh, okay.
It says
Thanks.
page 8 at the bottom or page 11 or 18 at the top. 11 of 18. I think that was there last time, and I missed that, but I saw that this time, and it just didn't.
I believe, and John, correct me if I'm not mistaken, this is assessing the commercial land use designation, not necessarily commercial zoning or actual usages. There's a lot of commercially zoned property within the county that is not, does not have a commercial land use designation under the
Okay.
comprehensive plan.
That's correct.
Okay. So it may be under something else like...
Correct. Allowable
Industrial.
uses within other categories.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you think that is accurate, the ones that actually have the commercial land use designation, 16 acres?
Mhm.
Okay. That's really the only thing that I saw that I had any
And
questions.
there were 2 other corrections that were made. One of the comments that we received the last time was the number of vacant units was reported at about 2,000, and that the source of the information came from the census data.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went back, and that was one of the things I think you all raised as a question. We went back and checked it, and where that data comes from in the census is from a survey. So basically the way that works is the census people go out and they ask folks, you know, what about that parcel? And somebody could say, well, I think that's vacant. So we reached out to some real estate folks in the county and elsewhere and said, you know, what percentage do you show for that? And they couldn't really give us any figures on it. So based on what we perceive to be somewhat unreliable sources within the census data, because a lot of that's real accurate, and then other parts of it are an estimate. We removed that. Even when we removed it, it didn't really have much of an impact on the analysis.
What you're talking about applies to the residential.
I'm sorry, yes, I'm shifting gears on you.
Okay, I just wanted to...
The other correction on residential was the historically platted subdivisions. And we went ahead and looked at that. The planning department gave us figures on that, places like Wakulla Gardens, Magnolia Gardens. And even when we removed that, it had a very negligible effect on the analysis because it was barely 1% of the total acreage. So neither one of those adjustments really changed much. So, but we did make those changes.
Very good.
Any other questions?
Anyone? No, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Hear none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. That ends our general business. We've got to wait let's see,
We can do the public.
do the public hearing. We'll go to item number 10.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Number 10 is requesting board approval to conduct your public hearing and adopt an ordinance that would regulate the use of unmanned aerial systems, which are more commonly known as drones, in and around the Wakulla County Airport. This is an issue that has come before the board before. The proposed ordinance that is at attachment 1 would prohibit the use and operation of all drones within 500 feet of any part of the airport runway. This is in order to try to secure a safe fly zone for planes taking off and landing at our airport. We're recommending approval.
Very good. Do we have a motion?
So move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. We've got a couple citizens. Mr. Robert Thompson.
If I may, I would like to wait, perhaps give comment later.
We're about to dispose of it one way or the other.
Okay, then, no comment.
Now, you can always speak as citizens to be heard, but we're going to make a decision one way or the other. You know, pass. Thank you, sir. Miss Dana Peck.
Dana Peck, 2481 Surf Road. Thank you. I'm happy for the ordinance. My address is Surf Road. That's why, I think. But I looked this over, and there's a line in here that kind of bothers me. It's section 4.077, and it says exemptions. This article shall not prohibit the use of UAS by any governmental agency for lawful purposes and operated in a lawful manner. And that sounds really, really good, but I'm wondering what a governmental agency is and what are the lawful purposes. Because at this moment, Tallahassee Community College has a drone class. And there are students in that drone class, and they are a government agency, I would assume. I don't know that, if they would fall into that category or not.
I wouldn't.
I don't know enough about that class to make that determination. The intent of that sentence is for law enforcement.
Great.
Thing.
That's what I'd love to have on the record, and that makes me sleep so much better at night. And the other thing is, the consequences of this, the first time somebody goes out there with their drone on the airstrip, or something, it's a, no, don't do that again. And that's pretty scary. Here's something scary. I used to fly single-engine planes, and we go up in the air, a bunch of us, and we'd fly, and we'd land down here, and we'd land on White's Field, and we'd go all over Blountstown for lunch. Anyway, that's scary, isn't it? But, it only takes one drone in a plane, hitting a plane, to have a major catastrophe. And so I hope there would be some consideration about don't go out there on a dare and try it once, because there's no radioing before you land here. You just fly around and then you feel like it and you land. You know, there's not necessarily any flight plan. And I think that's a danger that I would hope you all would consider about the fines or the punishments or the consequences if you go out there and twiddle around with a drone just for fun and you know you're not going to have to pay a fine. And that's generally the fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I would think the governmental agencies would be, military will occasionally use that, and so that would extend to them as well if they decide to fly a drone down the runway.
Sure. And Mr. Chairman, I don't disagree with the comments about the enforcement, but the enforcement schedule that we have included in here was one recommended by the FAA because that is consistent with how they enforce their regulations.
Okay. Very good. That ends our citizens. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. All righty. So our planning and zoning items are quasi-judicial. Our policy requires that we wait till 6 p.m. to deal with those. And so we have no scheduled commissioner agenda items. County Attorney, anything?
Mr. Chairman, I just have one reminder for the board that you have a special meeting on April 25th at 3 p.m. in this room to have a public hearing to consider amending your special events ordinance to potentially modify the insurance limits for alcohol events under a county permit. That's just a reminder.
Okay. Administrator.
Yes. a couple of things. Resurfacing on Oak Street and Wakulla Aaron, what you guys approved a couple of weeks ago. That'll be taking place this Thursday. Lee has done a good job of coordinating with the Sheriff's Office on that, since it will directly affect them. Also, talking about fire departments, the fire unification study that was sent out to you guys, we'll be hearing that on the next meeting. That agenda item is being prepared. So if you got any questions the next 2 weeks, please ask Louie ahead of time on that. That's something that's greatly needed. Also, the adopted infrastructure plan, we'll have that before you guys on the May 15th meeting, and we're going to get it to you just as quick as we get it from Kimley Horn. And as soon as we get that, we'll get it to you guys so that we can hopefully update and get that approval. Also, we'll be installing a weather stem at Shell Point Beach. What this will do is help advertise for Wakulla County. Initially, we're going to pay for this out of the boating fee funds because it'll give water temperature. It's going to give a picture just like you see on the news with WCTV of FSU Marine Lab. It'll post Wakulla County this time.
Nice.
And what we're going to do is we're going to run it a little bit, and then we're going to put it out to where if a realtor or whoever wants to sponsor that, they can sponsor that link, and their logo will be up on the
Is that
news.
something? It's got like a live webcam that's
Live webcam, yep. Live webcam, water temperature, all that stuff.
Give tides,
What's that?
give tides.
Give tides, everything. Yes, sir. It's really a really up-to-date thing. They have these in like Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium and St. George Bridge, and this will be the first in Wakulla County that we know of. Also, I'd like to ask the board. We've talked to FDOT, and I was mentioning to Commissioner Hess. We have a little issue with FDOT on getting them here, but they're coming. But I'd like to request a vote to allow for a May 15th workshop for our FDOT Crawfordville Town Plan. I thought we did it last time, but I don't think we did, so I need you guys to approve a workshop for the 15th so we can go ahead and notice it.
Chuck, you want to make that a motion?
I'll make that
3
a
o'clock.
motion.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any citizens like to speak on that? No, it was not on the agenda, but you can still speak if you like. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thank you, and that's all I've got.
All righty. Patty, do we have any citizens to be heard? Okay. Discussion items. Commissioner Stewart?
Just one, I forgot to bring it up last meeting, but I've been getting, and Lee's been working with me on this from ESG, but we have got to do something with the sewer station in Crawfordville. The smell
Hickory Park.
That's the Hickory.
The Hickory Park. And it smells bad. We keep working on it. The folks there keep complaining, and I can't blame them. I've gone to Sonic and rolled my window down and had to roll it right back up. So I don't know what, I mean, I know what the long-term fix is, and that's to get some of the sewer that's coming to that station, because a lot of it's stale up north, and it gets pumped there, you know, usually on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and that's when it stinks the worst. But I don't know what we do, short of pulling it up and moving it somewhere else, which we can't do because we don't have the money to do that. But, you know, Lee and your gang, you know, I'm not asking is that you try to check it daily. What do we got to do to keep the odor down?
Does that fall in our upgrade? Does that fall in our upgrade system?
Yes, sir. Part of what you guys approved in your consent agenda item was the Wakulla Magnolia Gardens upgrade. There's some part of this project will be to start taking some of the sewer off of that lift station. Now, it's not going to take the portion that comes from Wakulla Springs right now, but what this does, this lays the groundwork for us to be able to pull that sewer from there and get it a shorter route to the sewer, to the sewer plant. But ASG is working with a lot of different chemicals on trying to get this taken care of, and we feel as bad as everybody else does, and we're working as diligently, spending our share of money on it.
Well, hopefully the public recognizes that we do notice that.
Yes.
Lee and I rode by there the other day, and it was smelling the day we passed by. So we definitely understand that.
It's like trying to chase a cat.
Yeah.
So
very good.
But they're working on it.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Anything further? I was hoping to bring this up if Randy was here, and we don't have to deal with this, but obviously we've been reading in the newspaper about the community center, but we haven't discussed it as a board to figure out, you know, what we want to do. I haven't done anything, obviously, for the last week. I've been in the hospital, but I do just want to throw out there that there are at least 3 agencies now that are interested in discussing to rewrite that grant and take over that grant and continue it. That may be a good idea, that may not be a good idea, but I just want you guys to know that that's an option that's on the table, that there are at least 3 organizations that are interested in pursuing that.
As long as it doesn't involve county money.
Well, I mean, it's
They're
brought a
welcome.
lot of money in. The good side is it brings in outside state and federal money. The bad side is it occupies that facility for
I don't mind them occupying the facility because it's already there.
Right.
Just so long as we don't have to put money into.
That's something that, you know, you said that we've tossed this around as well, as we need to have a workshop on this.
Yeah, I think we do.
And,
I agree.
That's for sure.
Can
So-
we do that tonight?
I personally don't object to letting whoever will provide care or whatever for whoever, as long and we furnish the building to them. That's just whatever. But I'm not interested in putting county money into a program.
Right, and we're not suggesting do that. So.
I know. I'm just since we can't.
What we'll do is what we'll do is what we say. Jessica, speak up.
I'll bring something back.
Jessica
Okay.
will bring it back to get a workshop request, and we'll give you some ideas.
And I'd like to forward these contacts that I've been making to you. There's no need for me to be the middle person on it, but I'm glad to help any way I can. But I think it's always good to have options, and so we definitely want to tell those people that we should explore that option. I think at least.
Yeah, and we need to explore that, and then there's some longer reaching issues that we've discussed within staff, and we need to bring up to you guys, and that could, you know, it's longer range, but yet it's something we need to be thinking about.
Right.
And so yeah, we'll bring something back to you on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Idea.
That's all I have.
Do we have? How soon will the sidewalk get started between the senior center?
We're waiting on FDOT right now.
Okay. Will we be extending that sidewalk on down to?
No, sir.
Down
It just
to-
goes to 319.
Just puts them right in the middle of that intersection.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
At least there's crosswalks there, and
Yeah. Okay.
and the audibles. It does have the audibles and all that stuff.
Anything further?
I don't have anything.
All righty. So we've got 15 minutes to kill. Anybody have any?
We actually have Rock the Dock coming up this weekend. It's one of our
Next weekend.
big guests.
28th.
Okay.
Not this weekend.
Pardon?
Not this weekend. Following weekend.
Next week, yeah. Not this weekend, but the next. But it's one of the big events that comes into Wakulla. We have the regatta. That's the second weekend coming up. And that's a big event. And they both occur on the same day. But if you go by any of our boat ramps on a weekend now, they're all full. I mean, hundreds of boats are coming into Wakulla. That's a good thing. We need to spend as much money as we can on our fishing and our coastline as we can, because that's a big economic generator for our county. Probably 30% of our income comes from coastal activities.
And looking at ways to expand our access to the Gulf and to our rivers would be an
I agree.
important thing to be looking at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Anything further?
Recess
You
till
want to take
6 o'clock.
We'll take a recess till 6 p.m. and call the meeting back to order at that
Okay.
point. Thank you. 6 p.m. We'll go ahead and call the meeting back to order, and we'll get to our planning and zoning items, tab number 11. As I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, the applicant has asked us to continue this to our next meeting. Do we have a motion thereabouts?
Mr. Chairman, the request to continue has been made for the purpose of the applicant to submit additional information. It is authorized in this board's discretion to grant a continuance. In order to do that, you would need to have a motion to continue to a date, time, and place certain, and then you approve that. I would request that rather than May 1st, it be May 15th. Staff's attorney, Scott Shirley, who's in the audience here, is not available on May 1st. He's on a plane from San Antonio. So
Okay.
May 15th would work for staff and their attorney
And if we do that, would we do it at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m.?
at 5 p.m.
Okay. Or whenever it comes up on the agenda
Yep.
after 5 p.m.
Right.
Okay. Do we have a motion? And we will have, we are voting on this one way or the other, so citizens will be able to speak on this item tonight. We have a motion.
I move that we continue it until May 15th, but no later than that. It needs to be taken care of on May 15th. We'll give them the benefit of a doubt that there's some more information. I don't know if it's going to make a difference to me, but I'm fine with continuing it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion second. Patty, any citizens on this?
And that will be, just for the record, that'll be May 15th at 5 p.m. and in this room.
Mr. Maurer is the applicant. Yes, sir. Please come on up. Please identify yourself so the folks at home will know.
My name is Ron Mowry. I represent Heron Point, the developer in this case. And I thank you for accommodating us. There is additional information we'd like to get for the board so you can have a better opportunity to more comprehensively review all issues that relate to this. I would suggest this is a quasi-judicial proceeding, and I'm not sure it's proper when you're not going to consider the request for the change. I don't think it's proper you take testimony or comments today because it's supposed to be under oath, and the applicant has asked you to, and you have continued that matter. So I believe there's some due process rights at risk, and I would encourage you that you not do that. Thank you.
Well, I think the motion that's on the table is to continue it, and so that's what we would solicit from the public, that their comments are related to whether or not it should be continued. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it wouldn't be on the application itself.
I assume you'll limit it to that too. We won't get any kind of material, substantive discussion. That's
And
improper.
we only have one speaker, and so, all right. Mr. Bill Russell? Patty, you have another one?
I would have liked to see you vote on this tonight and end it, but you're the board. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Dana Peck.
I can't imagine any reason to continue this because you had a planning and zoning committee that unanimously said bye-bye. And to continue it, is it going to continue under the name of Panacea Gardens or Heron Point? I mean, there's been a little switcheroo stuff here. It was Panacea Gardens on Surf Road until Friday, and then Saturday, all of a sudden, it was Heron Point again with signs. And there's no confidence in this, let's enhance this. How can you enhance something that is inherently wrong in this area? And this is a hardship on lots of people.
Well, if you don't mind, let's
This
keep
is
it
the
to
continuance.
the continuance.
To continue this is a hardship on lots of people. We've gone to planning and zoning, we've rallied the troops, we're coming here tonight, and now you want to say you want to do it May the 15th. So continuing this just seems like, I don't know, what the next time? I mean, are you going to feed them before they talk to you? So.
Thank you, ma'am.
If I may, I did this in a great deal of caution. I asked the attorney, should we, consider continuing it? And the reason that I made the motion to continue it was purely, I don't want to have it appealed because we didn't listen and hear all sides and just vote on it. I think it's better that we err on the side of caution.
I agree.
To in the event that it is appealed. So.
I agree. Miss Karen Day.
Thank you, and I understand that you are deciding to continue, but I may not be able to be here the next time. I have some illness situation in my family, and I sent you emails today. Y'all know how I feel,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I just want to say thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. And that good time to point out to the public that we're available between now and then, either to speak with us, meet with us, or send us emails to communicate on either side of the issue. Thank you. Further discussion? Hear none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Planning and zoning item number 12.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
this is an application for final plat, FP 1702. This is also an ex parte hearing. In accordance with the code, each commission member needs to disclose any contact they may have received from interested parties, their representatives, lobbyists, or anyone else on this application. Commissioner Hess?
No, none.
Commissioner Moore?
No.
None. None.
None. Thank you. If there's anyone here who is going to be providing information on the application, please stand up to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Summer?
Yes, this is a request for a final plat approval, FP 1702, for the Dewin Plantation. This is a request to replat 2 existing lots within the Turkey Run Farm subdivision, creating a new 4-lot residential subdivision. Staff is recommending approval, and be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion.
Second.
Have a second. We have Mr. Wade Brown.
Just about 3 questions.
Thank you, sir. Further discussion from the board? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. We've handled our discussion items, and so that ends our meeting, unless anyone
Make a
has...
motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming out tonight.